meowdy, and welcome. My name's en-viss, my pronouns are they, them, and this is my Flosstube channel, Sleepy Goblin Crafts, where I talk about all things cross-stitch. It's been a little bit since I recorded, so we're just gonna jump right into things. The reason I didn't give y'all like a January plans video was because I got sick twice. Beginning of January I was good, got sick the second week, took me about a week and a half to recover, immediately got sick again, and now it's been about 2 weeks and I can hold a full conversation without coughing up a lung. So during that period of time, I got pretty much no stitching done. So I have 4 projects to show y'all. I have no starts, I have no finishes, just 4 whips. So let's get into that. First being that, and these are all related to WhipGo, except for one. First being the wolf. This is from the Year in the Woods series by Cottage Garden Threads. This was a WhipGo call for January for seasonal, and I figured this snowy scene was seasonally appropriate. And I'll be honest, I started January off very, very good. I got about a week's worth of progress on this guy, and I was like, oh, this is so easy. Like, I'm not gonna have a problem keeping up. So that obviously changed. This is being done on 18 count Wren from Fox and Rabbit, and I am using the called for DMC and the 1 specialty floss for this one specifically. Next is my second WhipGo call for January, which was a SAL, or a stitch along. And in this case, this was a stitch along that I did not participate in, but I purchased after it was done because I like it so much. This is Plants and Petrichor from Fine Frog Stitching. I'll see if I have a before photo and put that in of where I was at. Previously, I literally only had part of this window frame done. I didn't have any of the gray in. I didn't have this shelf in. So I put that shelf in. I put the beginnings of the photo of the cat, so just the cat. I put those 2 frames in, and I finished this shelf. So I worked on this on and off for like 5 days, I think. I can tell you. I have a stitching journal now. Let's see. I lied. I worked on this twice for about 400 stitches total while I was sick. I was not really feeling it, but I persevered. This is being stitched on 28 count malachite from Fiber on a Whim. So I don't know when I will pull this out again. I was hoping to get more progress done. Like, I haven't even started on this side of the pattern. So it is what it is. Progress is progress. Next is my 1 non-WhipGo call. This is my Mirabillia Raven Queen. See if it focuses on that. I started this as my New Year, New Start, and previously, when I showed this to you guys, I showed y'all that I started in the center and I worked my way over. Well, now I made it all the way to the top. Let me bring it in for y'all. And getting some detail in the pillar. Lots and lots of gray. But it is coming along and taking shape. The border does use 2 of the 3 silks, so I have been using that. It's been actually pretty easy to work on so far. I know it's like, what is this? Like, what am I looking at? And sorry, I have my recording on this side so I can actually see what I'm looking at. It's kind of hard to see, like, tell what you're looking at because, like, obviously this is some sort of arch. Can't really tell you what this is. Like, this is part of another pillar. But this is part of the dress, and it's like, because it's unfinished, it's like, what the hell am I looking at? But I am trying to get work on this done about once a week. I'm trying to put in at least 100 stitches once a week just to get progress done on it. I don't want to say that it's hard, because it's not. It's just I've been sick and I have not been stitching. So getting 100 stitches on this hasn't always been successful. I'm stitching this on 32 count Gray Magic from BeStitchMe, and I am doing this 2/2 with the called for DMC fancy floss like silks. There's Krynic, but I haven't gotten to that yet, and there's also beads, which I am saving for last. The last project that I've been working on is a call for February. This is a focus on a finish, and I'm kind of cheating by using Nature's Journey because I was like, you know what? Let's see if I can finish this by the end of February. So this is where I am at. This is a pattern by Sprouting Lupine. I'm sure many of you are familiar with it. So I started in the corner with this minty blue moth, and I worked my way all like over to here, put in that cute little moth, this red flower, this white flower, these brown leaves, sprig of, I'm assuming cedar or pine, and then this little, it's actually not so little, but this branch here is what I've most recently worked on. I will continue to work on this side because working with this like 1.5 inch margin is a pain in the ass. When I started this back in the spring last year, I did not know how to measure my border, like my margins at all. So I gave myself the fucking tiniest margins on the top and on this side because I couldn't figure out how wide the piece was going to be. And I could have easily made it fit in this whole piece of, this is a fat quarter. So I obviously could have made it fit. This is 32 count Cypress from Fiber on a Whim. But, you know, you live and you learn. I love this project though, so I will continue to work on that until it's done for the month of February. We're gonna go straight into plans because my second February call for WhipGo is a Halloween piece. And I'll talk about this more in a second, but I don't know what kind of time I'm going to have this month for stitching. If you follow me on Instagram, you'll probably have seen that I made a brief story post about not being very active in the foreseeable future, and this is gonna play into that. But because of that, I'm like, I need a smaller Halloween piece that I can just like pick up and put down for a couple of days. So I am going to continue progress on Skelecat in the Moonlight. I don't know why I didn't grab it. If I have a photo, I will put where I am at. Basically, it's like I have part of the fence done. Like, I think I need to do the fill-in on the fence, but that's what I've got in. So I figured give myself a couple of days progress on this and call it good. I also have technically 2 new starts planned. One being a start along or a stitch along that Krista of Clover Hop Stitching is hosting. She put out the call to start Best Friends by TrembleHand. I will put in a photo of somewhere on the screen. I will put in a photo of what that looks like. And I am going to be starting that on the 14th with her and a few other people who I believe have talked about wanting to start that with her. I am probably going to be stash diving for the colors, and I will be using up the rest of this 22 count oatmeal Ada that I have. Figure that this is going to be the perfect little project to put on this. So, and I will not be doing 2/2 on this. I will be doing 1/1. I have learned my lesson. The second project that I would like to get a start on is going to be my first full coverage. It's going to be my first full coverage. It is, I think I mentioned this in my 2025 Whip Parade. I cannot truly remember. If I did, whatever. But it's going to be Witchy Kittens, which is artwork by Elizabeth Alba, charted by Unconventional XStitch, and I will put up a photo of what this piece looks like. Unconventional XStitch, if you are interested in doing full coverage, they are committed to not charting any AI art, like any AI images. They are fully committed to that. So they will be the only ones who chart full coverage design patterns that I will be shopping with in the future. They have great great pieces of art to choose from. They have artists like Mrs. Butterdee, Miss Holly, Chrissa Bug, Jasmine Beckett Griffith, and like Omar Ryan, like amazing artists that have been converted into cross-stitch patterns. So if you've never done full coverage and you're interested, like me, Unconventional XStitch does not use AI. Anyway, that's my sales pitch for the day, I guess. Moving on. That's going to be hopefully my second new start this month. I have all of the floss kitted up. I should say, I have all the floss for the first page kitted up. And obviously, these are full skeins, so not all of these are going to be used. That's just because of how full coverage works. Like, there's obviously a lot of confetti. Look at these greens. You can't tell in this light. Pretend I didn't say that. But, so, I am keeping the floss in here. In this tin, in this Christmas cat tin. and I bought 25 count Easy Grid Lugana to make my life easier. Okay, those are my 2 new starts. Like, really, my plan is to start Best Friends, get a start on Witchy Kittens, finish Nature's Journey, and get some progress done on Skelecat in the Moonlight. Not ambitious goals, I don't think, because moving into other things, other hobbies, life stuff. Outside of the fact that I've been sick for almost 2-3 weeks collectively, Sean and I are also finally locking in on getting moved out and into a new place. That, as I'm sure many of you are aware or familiar with, is a very arduous process. It's not easy. It's long. There's a lot of paperwork involved, just like whether or not you're renting or buying. So a lot of my energy has been spent looking at places that we're going to be potentially moving to, filling out paperwork, getting documents together, you know, whole 9 yards. Literally, in the last 3 days, Sean and I I panicked and scheduled a tour for the same day on Wednesday and Thursday. And those, because of where we live right now, one of those was a 30-minute drive, and another one of those was a 40-minute drive, which isn't the end of the world. It takes a chunk of time out of our work day. So we're very fortunate that because we work from home, we can make these arrangements. And I mean, even some people who work from home can't just be like, okay, I gotta leave in 2 hours. Like, we are very fortunate, and I'm not trying to say that. Like, that makes it easier for us regardless. But because of that last minute arrangements, like, it's exhausting. On top of now, because we are starting to get into, you know, the nitty gritty of it, we're gonna be focusing more on packing. We've barely started packing. Like, we started packing one of our bookshelves, and I want to say collectively we have 8 boxes packed of books. And I will say, these are tiny, like, small book boxes, so they're not that big. I have a lot of heavy hardcover coffee table books. Like, I have a ton of art books. I have a lot of, like, I have the entire Final Fantasy Ultimatum series, and those books, there's 3 volumes and they're all like this thick. I have several Final Fantasy 14 art books, a ton of zines. Sean has a ton of zines. He has a ton of paperbacks. Like, collectively, we have a ton of paperbacks. So, and we've only filled 8 cartons, you know. It's just going to be such a long process. And, okay, that is such a long-winded way to say I'm not going to be around, probably, until closer to mid-spring when we're settled in. At least, hopefully, fingers crossed. That's the goal. That's the, like, date. I'm not going to call it a deadline. It's the month, March-ish, mid-March to April. That's, like, ideal, right? And it's just going to be us packing. We're not hiring anybody to pack. We're not hiring anybody to move us. We're going to ask maybe a couple of friends to help load trucks, like pickup trucks. because we're not renting a U-Haul again. We rented a U-Haul when we moved in because we had a deadline to get out of our old place. But we're so flexible now that we don't have a deadline to move out, so we don't need to rent a U-Haul. We're just going to need help moving big furniture items, you know. And regardless of that, like, that packing just takes so much energy. And that aside, like, not even considering the emotional, mental, and physical energy I have to expend for that, the world is so fucked right now, you know? If you don't know what the fuck is going on in the US and across the world right now, you are living with your head under the ground. And I don't want you as a follower. Fuck ICE. Free Palestine. Fuck generative AI. I'm so tired. I'm so tired of turning on my phone in the morning and getting blasted with news of another protester getting shot, of more civilians in Palestine being killed because of shrapnel from a bombing. I'm so tired of hearing crickets from our apparent leaders, the people who are in positions of power, when emails from the Epstein files are released and people are like, hey, this is pretty atrocious stuff, and representatives in power are acting like they're not being shown anything. So, those of you who follow me on Instagram, last week I went on a tangent, and it was pretty harsh, because as a white person, I have a lot of privilege that a lot of black people, a lot of brown people, people of color, do not have. And that's just not for myself as a white person. That's all white people. And we, as white people, have a responsibility to black, brown, and people of color who are being affected. Because, let's be fucking honest, black people have been telling us about this. Black, disabled women have been telling us about this shit for years, nay, decades. I'm not going to get into it. I'm not going to get into the reads about it. If it bothers you that you feel attacked or hurt to be lumped into this category of white people because, oh, well, you're an ally to black people, that doesn't apply to you, you need to check yourself. You need to talk to your therapist about that. You need to sit with that discomfort and understand that we have a privilege that other people don't. Okay? And that's all I'm going to say about it, because I will go on a tangent about it. And I already did that on Instagram. So, all of that being said, we're going to wrap it up. I'm not going to be around posting videos, posting on Instagram. Like, I'll be sharing reels still and, like, other people's posts, and I'm going to be supporting my community. You should be supporting your community too. Right now, everything is fucking awful, and it has been awful for the last however long, and it's going to continue to be awful. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Things are going to continue to be awful for the foreseeable future, which is why I won't be posting online much. But that doesn't mean I'm just going to be disappearing off of the face of the earth. I'm still going to be around, just not in this kind of capacity for the foreseeable future. Probably until we're settled back in, and even then, I'm not making promises. You'll still see me post on Instagram occasionally, but I'm not gonna be, like, having routine, like, I tried to stick to posting, like, every 3 to 4 days. That's not happening anymore. I'm not gonna have monthly uploads. Like, obviously, I said that I was gonna post a fucking plans video by the end of January, and it's February 6th. And I have no plans video, because that, it just kind of feels pointless, you know? So, support your local community. If you live in the boonies like me, find your nearest community. Go to the library. Like, I'm sorry. There was a post that I saw that I really resonated with, and I hated that I resonated with it. And I don't remember it verbatim, but it was something along the lines of, you have more in common with your MAGA Trump neighbor than you do with billionaires. And that's the truth. You have more in common with your asshole neighbor who also struggles to pay his mortgage than you do with a billionaire who gets his feelings hurt because he wasn't invited to the pedo island. So find your community. If you're rural like me, the library is a great place to start, I promise you. If you'd rather not go to the library, there are online places. Like, there are fuck Meta, but unfortunately, Facebook does have some very genuine communities. Like, Facebook group communities. Find them. They exist. I promise you. It's actually not as bad as you think it is. Feels bad. You think it does. Words have a lot of power. So find your community, stick with your neighbors, protect your neighbors. If you work, talk to your, like, manager, or if you are a manager, talk to maybe, like, whoever your boss is, like if it's like a VP or HR or CT, I don't know. Talk to someone about what your employers, what is the word? What their plans are if there is ice activity. Talk to them. What's the plan if they come knocking on your door? And it doesn't matter if your place employs immigrants or not. What is your plan? What is your employer's plan? Your colleagues deserve to know. If you have the capacity, talk to your family. It's hard. It's so fucking hard to bring up this type of conversation. I know. I'm the same way. But it would behoove you to just mention something. And that being said, take care of yourself. You cannot pour from an empty cup. You have to take care of yourself if you want to take care of others. And I've said this before on Instagram and to other folks, but there is more to showing up than going to protests and being on the front lines. You do not have to be a protester to help your community, to help your neighbors. Donate to a food pantry, show up to a food pantry, soup kitchen, what have you. Volunteer. Offer any type of lessons, like showcasing, like, I think there are like de-escalation classes, that sort of thing that you can take. So really, I know, especially for folks like myself who have very rough mental illnesses, where we have a tendency to beat ourselves up, that bully voice latches onto your anxiety and starts poking and prodding tiny holes into you. Take a minute for yourself and take care of yourself. And if that means taking a step back, not being on social media for a day, tuning out the world so that you can come back the next day, do what you have to. But don't just put your head in the sand and pretend that these problems don't exist. Because you continue to do that, they will continue to persist. It's how we got here in the first fucking place. I'm gonna get off of my soapbox now and go play Dungeons and Dragons. So, take care. Be safe. And I will see you sometime in the future. Bye. This is being stitched on 28 count malachite from BeStitchMe. Nope. I am stitching this on 32 count lunar. Nope. They will be the only full coverage charting charters. What's the word I'm looking for? The people gotta know.